Good? All right. So, Alexis Marin, better known as PapiShampoo.
Yes,
What's
sir.
good, my brother? How are you?
What's up, man? Feeling blessed, grateful. Another day we gotta wake up.
Happy 2021. What's your biggest goal in 2021?
My biggest goal, honestly, was I'm looking at a building to buy
Ah.
for a trade house.
Ah.
I've been looking into a couple, so that's really I think my biggest goal for this year.
Dope.
They're
That's
gonna
good.
help create a lot more stuff.
That's super raw. What's your story, bro? Tell me your story. Like, how'd you grow up? What was your childhood like?
Oh man, nah, we're about to start shedding tears now.
Yeah, bro. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Nah, bro. Well, my parents obviously they're from Mexico. I was born here in Chicago. They're from Michoacan, and they had me up north side of Chicago. Um, grew up. My parents were extremely ghetto. They were ghetto as fuck. Yeah, they had me like at a really young age. So I mean, growing up, I'm one of four.
You the
And
oldest?
I'm the oldest, and obviously growing up in a Mexican household is completely different. You gotta kind of take the blame for everything. And but I mean, I liked it. I didn't have a bad life. Our parents kind of grew up, in the place they give you everything they can,
Yeah.
and everything they have. So I grew up moderately good. Um, right when we were about like fourth grade, fifth grade, we moved down to Cicero, so down to like the west side part of Chicago, and that's where I grew up. They invested a lot of time in me with soccer. We played a lot of soccer. I played, at an extremely high level. We went down to state. We went down to many, many different parts of the country. So, that was a really good fun time. We've been to almost every big city around the U.S., New York, Texas, Florida, Idaho, California, everywhere you can name, every big state we've been down to. So that was a real fun experience. Um, and yeah, dude, I mean, not too much growing up. Pretty good life, and
What was so
now
you
we're here
played
now.
soccer like competitively, like on the travel team, or was it like a league, or what was that like?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. One point in my life, I played like on 6 teams,
Oh damn.
and it was like either a game or practice every single day throughout the week. But that kind of helped me help build my foundation. Of not really, um, steering off in the wrong direction, and also getting to pick and choose my friends.
Yeah.
Especially like high school teen days is a big key to where you're gonna kind of go in life. Maybe I can say. A lot of people will say differently. They're like, after you graduate high school is what matters. But, high school I feel is like what determines people's habits.
Facts. What kind of habits did you pick up in high school, other than like working your ass off in soccer?
Dude, legit, it was just learning how to stay consistent. Because there would be times where I was fucking lazy, dude. I hated practice, dude. I hated fucking running. I was always the fattest kid on the squad. But, I still put in work. And one thing would have been just staying consistent in whatever I had to do, and just getting the mindset right was where I really picked off from them. Because a lot of these coaches, they were not like, oh yeah, sit down, give me a hug. I'm like, you get a trophy because, you participated. Like, motherfucker, you win or you're going to lose, And
Yeah.
when we lost, it wasn't a pretty picture, So they helped kind of build that discipline and,
That's dope. Do you have like a coach that kind of impacted you the most?
Yeah, so I kind of say, so in Cicero, where we all kind of grew up together, and everybody in our teams grew up together and lived in Cicero. We all went to high school together, went to junior high together. But so throughout my life, I had 3 coaches. 2 of them were cousins, and they were kind of like the president of the whole soccer academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them was a very good friend. They all just decided to start it. And luckily, I was one of the first guys, one of the first teams, one of like the first youth clubs to get started in that place. So I think they're still coaching now, but 2 of them, they were called Tovars. That was their last name.
Tovars.
Yeah.
Are they Russian?
They're Mexican.
Tovares.
Tavares, yeah. And they're actually real. They're like 5 feet tall.
Damn.
You know, but luckily, like their soccer record speaks for themselves. So
Like
that's why.
the little short Mexican, super good at soccer.
Yeah, like Cuauhtémoc
Pikachu.
Blanco. Yeah, like Pikachu. But you know, they were actually really really fucking good. You know, so they were good enough to be our coaches as well. And then it was funny because the other coach, he was like 7 feet tall. So you could kind of see the difference between them.
Yeah.
But you know, their mentalities were both one. So it was dope. So all three of them really helped impact us. One of them was the bringing everybody together, you know, like work as a team. Another guy, he didn't give a fuck. You know, he screamed at you, bitch at you. If you didn't get in line like in 5 seconds, by the time he finished counting, you know, your ass had to run the rest of the practice.
Yeah.
And we had the last guy, Pelon. That's what was his name. His name was, his last name was Chacon. We just called him Coach. He was 7 feet tall, and this guy did not fuck around, dude, either. So
Damn.
they all kind of had like the little impact.
That's the kind of more. So what happened after high school? Like, what did you decide to do?
Man, after high school, it was a dark stage the first year right after, because it was kind of like everybody was together, and I'm saying I had all honors classes, but once we got to senior year, I didn't really take my life serious after what was gonna happen. I already knew something was gonna go down, but as of like an actual plan, you know, and that's where I got to like graduation day. I was like, oh shit, you know, everybody was all hyped. And then I was asking him, like, where you going? Oh, you know, I'm going to Champaign. This other guy, oh, I'm going down to Florida State, Alabama State, whatever it was. And that's where I was kind of like, fuck, you know, like, I didn't know this part was gonna, why ain't nobody fucking tell me, you know?
For real.
We had to do this shit for ourselves now, you know? And that's where it kind of got down to, what the fuck am I gonna do, you know? I didn't want to go to college. You know, I had nothing wrong with college, but I'm like, I wanted to be a chef, and I did look into it once, and it was like $100,000 to be a chef.
Like culinary school?
Yeah, culinary high school, and I was like, man, I'd rather tell my grandma to show me how to make tacos, you know? That shit will be a lot cheaper, you know? So I never pursued college, and it was one of the best things that can happen.
That's,
you know?
Dude, I feel like there's so much pressure when you're in high school, like, to choose what path you're gonna go down and like stay committed towards that path. Like, I didn't try on my tests because I knew that I wasn't gonna go to college, but still I felt like all my teachers were like, okay, well, what community college are you gonna go to? Mm-hmm. And then like, you're gonna go to community college for 2 years, and then where you're gonna transfer. Like, you gotta look ahead, you gotta look at your career and what you're gonna do and like what field you're gonna move in. And I was like, man, that's not what I want to do. So I kind of had to do the same thing. Like, I was in the art institute for photography, but it was like the same price. It was like 140,000, and I was like, you know, just learn all this shit on YouTube. They took the creativeness out of it, so that's why I was like, it's not down for that. What did you decide to do? Like, what was your?
So I always had in my mind, you know, like after my very first job, you know, my parents had gotten divorced at some time, and my father had gotten, you know, some lady, and she had like a multi-million-dollar business.
Damn.
This lady was like loaded. And one of my first actual job was,
He scored.
yeah, was working for her company. You know, I would have to go. She had an exchange, so she would actually send money from here to Mexico and back.
Okay.
So, you know, el intercambio, like, oh, manda dinero para la casa, back to Mexico. Yeah, she did that. And, you know, she hit her idea, you know, and she made millions off of it. And so she had multiple stores all over Chicago, Aurora. So it was my job, just going to every single store, grabbing like reports, grabbing money, and seeing exactly what the stores needed, you know, like inventory-wise. So just making sure every store was like still running.
Yeah.
So once I seen that entrepreneurship, you know, she had, bro, she was a woman, you know, single mom with like 2 daughters, you know, and she still came up like that. I was like, damn, that's what I want to do. Yeah. You know, she'd be chilling in her office and telling people to get the fuck out, you know. You know, so I'm like, I got that kind of cemented in me. You know, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And then life hit right after that, because, you know, they kind of split up. And, you know, I kind of was with the package, so I had to go too. So I was like, fuck, man, you know, I'm like, these people have the power to do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, unless you do something for yourself. And that's when I went into O'Hare. I was one of the guys pushing around with a wheelchair.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was
You
my
make
next
tips
shit.
doing that, no?
Yeah, tips.
Okay.
And then getting on and off the airplane. But yeah, I'm not gonna do this shit for the rest of my life.
Yeah, shit sucks. Pulling around cranky ass old folks.
Oh my god, bro. There was some people, dude. Like, all right, of course, you know, the point of the job was to get tips. You know, we are getting paid like $3 an hour. So point was grabbing, you know, like a fucking person. I don't know what they're called, you know.
Like
I know more.
Handicaps.
Yeah, handicaps. Grabbing them and then taking them to. Not even half of them were handicapped. They just wanted a way to get around the airport because they didn't know.
Oh.
So they will call with, you know, you don't have to be handicapped to call for a wheel. If you pull up to the airport, and this is probably confidential, I can probably say it because a lot of people will do this shit. So this is a key. If you pull up to an airport and they are packed and you see a wheelchair service out there, you can be like, hey, I'll give you $5 if you just get me through security. They'll get you through security for like 5 minutes and no questions. You can literally hop off the chair right after you go through security.
Just a hack.
Yeah.
They just push you through to the metal detector.
Yeah, they just push you through everything. And because of their confidentiality, you know, thing they sign, they cannot ask you any questions because not all handicapped you can see, you know. Some people, it's things that you cannot see.
Yeah, facts.
You know, so it could be like, oh, my back hurts, you know, so I can't walk for 10 minutes without having to sit down.
Yeah.
That could be a reason, you know, and they can't ask you any questions.
Did you make good tips?
Yeah. Yeah. At an 18, dude, you know, I was coming out with a pretty decent amount of money, you know, so nice. It was fine. Then, you know, kind of sometimes seeing like the big ass packets, you know, I was like, that I'm balling, you know, but then once I had counted, I'm like, man, this ain't shit, you know,
because like all singles and shit.
Yeah, once bill time will come, I'll be like, fuck, you know,
half the stack is gone.
Yeah.
I gotta go back.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So the airport was like because right now you're a plumber, so like was that like your transition into that, or how did you get into that?
So I've had a couple different jobs throughout my life. So first was working with my ex stepmom, then working at O'Hare. Then the next one I got was an insurance agency. It was the best, worst time of my life, you know.
That's door knocking?
Yeah, kind of similar. But I had to go, you know, to people's homes, you know, marketing, getting yourself out there, recruiting people. And I loved it to some point, but I feel like I was 18 and I was starting to lose my hair, you know.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. What was the company called?
I don't want to say it. No, I can't throw shade at. You know, they did a lot for me, you know. But it was just one of those things that, you know, it's just, no matter how hard you try, it's just not going to be for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I feel that. That's huge.
Yeah. And then right after I lost that was like the darkest time of my life, bro. Like I was 19, I think. Yeah, I was 19 already by that time. And well, at the insurance, you know, I had became a manager. I had like a huge ass team. And then, you know, literally one day I just lost it all, bro. Like from one day to another, I just lost it all. And I was left without a job and I was like, fuck, you know, dude. I had gained so much weight, bro. You know, like the fucking little bit of money I had left over, you know, of course. It was like some depressing, dark times.
Yeah.
That I was like, fuck, you know, like, what am I going to do next? You know, I thought I was going to be an insurance agent for the rest of my life. And then you got to the point where you're like, fuck, I'm not going to be there no more. You know, and you're like, everything you thought that you poured your life into was just gone. That's fine. You know, I had lost my license. I had lost my whole team. I had like a very bad image upon myself, you know, from people that didn't even know me. And so it was like, dude, like, what the fuck do I do now, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it was like 2-3 months that I applied to like a million different types of jobs, you know, and nothing ever went down. And yeah, right after I was like, man, I'm never gonna fucking go through this shit again, you know? I'm like, I gotta create something for myself. And then luckily enough, my uncle's plumbing job was hiring. And yeah, he hired me a couple times for like a couple little jobs, you know, like breaking cement, digging, like, you know, manual labor that the other plumbers didn't want to do. And then, I mean, the owner of the company, he's a Romanian guy, you know, it's a family-owned business.
Yeah.
And he was nice. He's a really cool fucking guy, man. I love that guy. And yeah, he took me in. I had asked him like, hey, you know, would you mind getting me full time? He's like, yeah, I could start giving you like 3 days a week, till you start learning a little bit more. Then I can, give you full time. So I was like, yeah, fuck it,
Nice. What was it like to lose everything? Like, 'cause that's a big transition.
bro. Like, all right, for example, when how would I say it? Like so right now during like the whole corona crap that's going on, like a lot of people lose everything and they're like stressed, they don't know what the fuck to do, but when I lost everything, it was like, fuck, dude. Like, you wake up, you feel like shit every day, you're so negative, you don't even get a haircut.
Oh, yeah.
That's how bad it
Yeah.
was. And for a guy not getting a haircut like at least once a month, dude, it was bad. I went, I think, like 4 or 5 months without a haircut.
It's like COVID times.
Yeah, dude, it was such a bad, depressing place. I was at that time, my dad and his girl were still like on and off, but I'd be spending time at my grandma's house, and I was like, fuck, like I'm 19, about to be 20, whatever, and I ain't got no type of money for rent. I ain't got, I didn't even have a car. I lost my license, bro, like when I was working there, So I didn't have a license, bro. I was in debt with like all this fucking court payments. Dude, it was bad. All these lawyer fees,
Dude, that's a terrible place. I've been there. It's fucking,
Yeah.
it's awful, dude. It's like a bad mental, just like drain of energy. It's like everything you do, you're just like, dude, you can't go to the dollar store. And if you do, you gotta watch out, make sure you don't get too many things, like,
Yeah.
dude, when you go grocery shopping, you go for like the 97-cent peanut butter when you used to get the one that was like $2, and it was like, fuck, dude, like eating, Dollar Tree bread and shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a terrible place to be. But like, what did you do to get out of it?
Bro, legit, one day I just woke up and I told myself, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this, like, fuck am I so negative for, like, what? Dude, all right, so I have, if I can't curse, bro, I'm sorry.
Dude, it's all good.
This shit, I don't know if it's PG-13, but it shouldn't be PG-13.
I think you already cursed a couple times, so I think it's rated R at this point.
And
It's all good, bro. We don't got rules here.
Yeah, así me gusta.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I just started getting into mentality. I really love like seeing Viking shows. Well, before, dude, I haven't watched a Netflix series in like a year, dude. And but back in the day, I used to be big on shows, so I love watching like old Roman Empire stuff, like Viking shows. They were just so big and ruthless. Like like a rhino.
Yeah.
A rhino is 80% testosterone, dude. Like a male rhino. So they wake up, they're fucking pissed. They're waiting to ram something,
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
So I was like, why the fuck am I being a little bitch, dude? I'm like, get him a fucking rhino gorilla mentality, and just start killing it, bro. Like, why am I this sad, depressed, homeless, shriveled up guy, when I should be a fucking king?
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't we not deserve all the luxuries in life, Not even luxuries, as in material stuff, but as in lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know?
Why do you think people can't get that though? Because like there's a lot of people like that now. Like, why do you think people are so stuck in the, in that mindset that they can't get? They know that's out there, but like they can't get there. Why do you think that is?
Dude, legit, bro. I feel like a lot of people either waiting for that fucking superhero, to come and swoop down and save them.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people don't like to really man up about their life. 'Cause, it takes a lot of balls, whether you're a guy or a girl. I've seen some girls have some more fucking balls than, some of these little ass testosterone weak guys, And it's just more like a metaphor, but it's a hard state to get out of, especially when you've been conditioned like that your whole life, And I know you guys have probably seen it as well in a lot of different people. And they just love to hear a blame. Like, if it's spirituality, they'll be like, oh, somebody's doing, my ex did this to me, this type of like, like brujeria or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, that's why this doesn't work out for me. Or they'll be like, oh, it's because my parents raised me this way and, they were like this, so I have to be like that as well. Or it's because my 7th grade teacher, they fucking screamed at me once and told me I wasn't going to be nothing, and that really saddened and depressed me. I'm gonna cut myself,
Yeah.
Bullshit like that, I know it's real stuff that goes on in the world, but what about your own world, inside your head? Like, what the fuck are you doing about that? You know, that's one thing you can do, but not a lot of people know how to realize that shit.
Yeah, it's
You
hard,
know?
dude. It's really hard. A lot of people just this go through day by day, day by day, day by day, and especially now with social media, like it's so hard to escape that because for me, what I find myself doing is whenever my mental space is not occupied with a thought like that, of like progress or like, I'm not doing anything. The first thing that I do is I pick up my phone. You
Yes.
pick up your phone, and the first thing that you open is either Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, I open MetaTrader,
Hmm.
right? But like, that's the first thing you're conditioned to do is like, let me see what's going on out there, and I feel like that kind of gets you so sucked in to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people get stuck in that because they're sucked in and they can't escape that. There's been a couple times where I've deleted my Instagram, just like not the profile itself, but like the phone app,
Hmm.
because I found myself just like not thinking about doing anything and then just like wasting my time on social media. Like, did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, oh man, plenty of times, dude. And then even more, I feel like, especially well, with me and my experience, it was more with like people going on Facebook and having to voice their opinions out a lot, and a lot of these opinions were just negative. Like my parents did this, or having a bad day,
For
or
real.
and you go on social media and you're having a good day, and then you read, oh, this guy's having a bad day, and you're like, damn, you know what? Maybe my day isn't going that well,
Yeah.
or find some type of fucking negative excuse to feed off of, or get some type of memory in their head.
Yeah.
Like when you're all having fun out like at a bar or something, and then you get that one random memory, and it just fucks up the rest of your night.
Yep.
You
Yep.
remember so and so did this to you like 10 years ago, and you're like, fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. That's funny that we both thought of that. You're like, oh, I remember that moment. That's hilarious, bro. So through your obviously life, you've had to fucking get out of shit. Like obviously soccer, when you were
Mhm.
younger, like that wasn't easy. How does that work ethic translate into your life now with like what you're doing? Like, cause bro, like I see you, and I tell you this the other day. Like I see you everywhere, bro. Not a lot of people are willing to take the drives that you take to like, go to this mastermind or go to this event or come all the way here. Like I know where you were at. Appreciate you coming out here, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a far drive, and most people are like they type it into their GPS and they see it's more than 25, 30 minutes tops, and they're like, I gotta do something. Like most people would have stayed home and took care of their dog. Like what happened to you?
Mhm.
Like they would have just been like, you know what, there's another time. Like they don't have that work ethic. Like how did you develop that?
Dude, I honestly, well, a big part of it creating, into my like exactly like we were talking about what happened right after high school. So for example, soccer was my fucking life, dude. Like I used to be everywhere, every team, I could be on. And then little by little, well, right after our senior year ended, um everybody went off to go do their own things, and a lot of people stayed together in their own teams, and some other people went to the same colleges and played for the same team, and that's where I was kind of like, fuck, I'm left out. And I'm like, why the fuck did that shit happen to me? I love soccer, dude. I love playing everywhere. I love being chismoso. I love being nosy with everybody, and I love to be surrounded by a lot of people, and it just helps feed me, especially with the right type of people. And so, for example, right when we came out, it just stopped. Right after our last senior game, we had lost like a little bit short to state, and everything just went away. I was like, fuck, I'm like, a lot of other people got to continue their dream, and that's where I was like, you know what, our team isn't together no more, so the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm like, just go, all right, it's not together, it's not together. But instead of going out and creating another team, like everybody else said, they all went to college and created a lifestyle with other teams, and got to keep on living that dream. Um, and I didn't, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, fuck that. I'm like, it's time to start creating my own stuff. And so, for example, when I started here with this company with you guys, I started seeing everybody like the day you don't show up is the day you should have showed up. Or like the day you don't show up is the day somebody else would have showed up for you, but you didn't. So I'm like, why the fuck am I gonna complain about taking an hour drive if we would have, if those if the fucking baddest bitch on this planet, that you thought, that you were madly in love with, moved to a different state and said, be like, I wanted you my whole life, but was too afraid to speak of course you're gonna fucking take that drive to go out there to see her.
Fact.
You're gonna be like, this is my girl. So I'm like, why the fuck are we not gonna take an hour drive to go see people, or go mastermind, or go to something that's actually gonna help you, instead of staying home and like your thoughts are not running through your head and running through Instagram.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. That's huge. Do you feel like that translates into every aspect of your life, or just what you're doing now?
Dude, every aspect now. Like I wake up every fucking day like, what am I gonna do today that I didn't do yesterday? So like taking this drive out here, I didn't do this shit yesterday, and I love it. Bro. Like running, taking this drive here. I was listening to Andy Frastilla.
Dude, I love that guy.
Bro, he is so fucking raw and uncut, dude. I love that guy.
Yeah.
And yesterday, he brought out his New Year's special. That like every year he does this shit of like, he started off the podcast, why the fuck am I gonna do this,
Yeah.
And I was like, we're waiting to hear some, oh yeah, this year's gonna be yours, or this year, it's gonna be different, the stars are aligned, some bullshit, I'm like, the only way they're aligned is because you think they're gonna be aligned, they're not aligned. And I wouldn't have heard of that if I didn't take this drive out here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting right here seeing your house, if I didn't take this drive out here.
Thanks.
So that's why I feel like every single day I gotta do some shit that I didn't do yesterday.
How did you get into Andy Frasilla?
Man, so there's these dope ass guys on Instagram that I follow, and they have a TV show. They're called Diesel Brothers.
Dude, okay, so the one guy who has a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know. He put me onto Nikola, the company.
Yeah, Nikola.
Yeah, I was gonna invest into their stock, but then obviously did deeper research. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude. So Diesel Brothers. Well, first I'm gonna start off by them. Diesel Brothers, dude. They are some dope ass guys. Just swole ass meatheads. They're country guys, and they're American, but they all speak Spanish. They're like, me gusta mi gente mexicana, and they're all Christians, and they all do like their services. They all did them like in Mexico, South America, so they have a huge respecting for like Latin culture, and so I really fucked with them, and my dad used to love watching their show, like they just used to build big ass diesel trucks, like 6x6 trucks, with like 12 tires,
That's
and
crazy.
I started following them, dude, and until they're all like some 7 foot, swole ass gym junkies, building trucks.
Yeah.
With their best friends, so I was like, man, that's fucking dope. And they had built that truck for Andy Frastilla, and they had gotten on an interview with him, and this guy was just started talking like, people gotta quit being a bitch, they're waiting for some superhero moment, like, man, that's fucking dope, they're like, a motherfucker, like Pablo Escobar, he could run a whole fucking, drug dealing business. And there's some guys that can't even escape their girl, like they can't even go out with the guys without their girl, having to have something to do with it,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so true, dude, And so I started listening to more of his podcast. So I listen to podcasts every single time when I drive. I replace it out for music. And so like Andy Frasilla, I started hearing this guy talk, it's so raw and cut. He curses in half the words, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but
Yeah.
I love that type of, energy.
My first podcast that I heard from him was when he was like midway through his 75 hard, and it was like he was talking about like he was doing the podcast, I think like recording it with his headphones or something, while he was doing his cardio workout. And the first line that he said, he's like, so he was like heavy breathing. So he's like, if you hear me, he's like breathing heavy, it's not because I'm fucking masturbating. It's like it's because I'm fucking working out. I'm like, I like this guy. He's a beast.
Yeah.
And I started listening to all his shit. The point of that podcast was like, you never actually accomplish anything in a non-super fucking exhausted, tired state of mind. And I was like, man, this guy's a beast. So ever since then, he was actually the guy that inspired me. Him and Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan?
Yeah, inspired me to start doing this. So that's dope. You listen to Joe Rogan?
Oh, dude, I fucking love him too, dude.
That's dope.
That guy's hilarious, bro.
We gotta make it on there, bro.
Dude, that's the next goal, bro.
That's
We're gonna write that on our vision board.
for real. Get interviewed by Joe Rogan. No, Andy Frasilla. I would like to fucking meet Andy Frasilla, bro. Like, He's a beast, and he's a real smart businessman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, he's a fucking, just a goofy ass, like, fucking Trump supporting, big truck driving, rich, fast car, mean looking motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
But he's a very intelligent guy.
Very.
What inspires you most about him?
Yeah, I think it was just the way he talks, bro. Like the way he talks, and he was all like. So I always had a thought in my head that was like, man, like what if my parents had money, or man, what if my great grandpa had left me some rich ass land that I could build stuff, but he has said on his podcast is all like, quit listening to to your fucking bitch voice, and he just did he said that shit over a year ago, and he just brought out a podcast about it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's when I was like, shit, it kind of helped me remind myself of who we are.
Yeah.
We all have a bitch voice, that little, what, just go to sleep. 5 more minutes,
Yeah.
and it's like, are those fucking 5 minutes really worth it? Because 5 minutes is not 5 minutes.
No, bro, it's 25 minimum.
Exactly. And once I started hearing that, that's what really kind of got me hooked onto him. And I was like, why the fuck are we all being little bitches, dude? Like, why do we have to listen to our bitch voice instead of our, ruthless voice? That's what I like to call it. Like, just fucking get to work,
Yeah, that's facts. I think that's a lot of people are missing that. That's why I wear this bracelet, bro. I'm sure you've seen it before. It says, don't be a little bitch.
I gotta get one of those.
It reminds me every day, Sometimes it doesn't do its job, but, it'd be like that sometimes. How long you been dating your girl for, bro?
Dude, we've been dating. Alright, so we knew each other in high school, but we never talked to each other. I called her Cheeto Fingers,
Like, she always used to eat hot Cheetos?
Yeah, she was one of those, like, Mexican girls. Not Mexican, but one of those high school girls that walks around screaming at 8 in the morning trying to start drama. And with a bag of hot chips in their hand and their phone in their back pocket.
That's funny as hell, bro.
So, but dating-wise, we never talked, But dating-wise, we're going on. We have 3 years going on 4 years this year. So, I've known her for a while, and it was kind of crazy how we met as well. It was a crazy ass story.
Let's hear it.
No, all right. So I have my cousin, right? One of my cousins, he lives way Buckfoot, like down south of Illinois, like by Phoenix, Illinois. And his girlfriend lives like 25 minutes away from me. And so one day, of course, like before I met her, I was talking to different girls, like, it's obviously that's what the fuck I gotta do. I'm not gonna talk to girls, And but once it would kind of never work out, with other girls, and then I bring them on double dates with my cousin, his girl, whatever, and they didn't seem to like any of them either, So they had told me she had a best friend that they kept trying to hook me up with, and they're like, they showed me her Instagram a couple times, and she was a gym junkie and whatever. I was like, damn, but I wonder if she's going to like me, Yeah. I'm like, those kind of thoughts. Like, oh, shit, I got kind of excited. And they kept on wanting to set me up on double dates, and it just never would work out. Either I had to do something, she had to do something, or that day, my cousin and his girl had to end up doing something else. And one day out of nowhere, I was up. It was on a Friday night, from Friday to Sunday. I used to just go sleep over at my grandma's house. She'd cook, these big ass meals. It felt nice, as a man, you like that shit,
Yeah.
And it was one random day. It was about like 6 in the afternoon. On my way up there, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm on my way to my grandma's house." And they're like, "Oh, dude, this girl said yes. Like, we're gonna go on a double date." She's all like, "Do whatever the fuck you gotta do, but come." I was like, "Oh shit, it's happening."
No more grandma.
No more grandma. So I was like, all right. And we went to this place that was called Whirly Ball. And right as I was passing through work, because I had to pass through it to get to my grandma's house, I was passing through it right when they called me. I was like, oh, shit. Well, what am I going to do for like the next hour, They're like, oh, it's going to be an hour from now. And so get ready and be there. I was like, all right, cool. And I didn't notice, but till afterwards, they called me first before they even confirmed with her.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool. So once they got the confirmation from me, they called her. My cousin's girl called her, my girl now, Michelle, and was like, hey, Alexis said yes, like, let's go, let's go. And I guess she got excited and she was coming out from work. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to go home and change and I'll meet you guys there. So I was like, cool. I'm like, I still went to my grandma's to eat because she had already made food. So I got in there, had a couple tacos and left right away. And so we get there, we get to the place, Whirly Ball, and she parks on some other side. She had like a Nissan Altima. And at that time I had my BMW. And so she loved BMW, every girl says that. And it was some bogus ass BMW. That bitch had like 220,000 miles,
Damn.
It had like every light imaginable.
You were stunting though.
Yeah, dude. No, but I had gotten that car like years, so I put a lot of miles on there. But point is, when I got there, we both met at the entrance. And they're like, hey, this is Alexis, and this is Michelle. And I met her. I'm like, I fucking know you. And then she's like, really? From where? She has this little high-pitched voice. And I'm like, we went to high school together. I'm like, you were Cheeto Fingers. And she was like, yeah, I think I remember, you were one of those jocks, those studs in high school,
One of those guys.
She's, and I'm like, yeah, damn, you've changed a lot, And I was like, yeah, I know. And I told that same thing to her too, she changed. And we started talking, and we just hit it off. And the funniest thing was she wore a shirt that said, what boyfriend? So it's kind of initiating already that like she was single. So dude, we just hit it off. But the thing I liked most about her, after Whirly Ball, we went to go eat to this taqueria. This big ass plate. The tortas are literally this big.
Yeah, fucking those places, bro.
Yeah, dude, it was so good. And the food's actually really good. And they're open 24/7. So we went to eat there. Right after we finished eating, she offered to pay for me.
That's
like,
love.
dude, I was, holy shit, dude, I'm marrying this girl.
Yeah. Dude, as a man, that means so much. Like,
legit.
When especially when you're not expecting it, when it like comes out of like, well, there's one thing where she's like right away, she's like, okay, I got it. And then there's like, oh, how much is it? And then she's like, oh, I got it. Or she's like, do you want me to pay for it? Like, that's a different thing than it's just like saying like, no, I got it. How do you do it with your girl now? Like, you just want one, or you just like spoil her? Or like,
I fucking spoil her, dude. Everything I got is for her. I feel like we got to kind of go back to the stone age. Back in the day where the guys do the hunting and the women stay home and cook and clean. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of people say, or a lot of girls, no, our girls in the bed, whatever. No, but look, all right, listen to me, bro. All right. So as a guy, it feels real fucking good, like for an average guy to get home from work and his wife cook. It's not a manly thing like, oh, she has to fucking cook for me, I have to provide. But as a man, it makes you know that, your wife is thinking about you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to keep this clean. And the same goes for you too, Of course, she likes to get home cooked meals every now and then and just lay down.
Yeah.
But as a guy, I feel, you're supposed to have everything down for you. Even if your woman's a fucking multi-billionaire, as a man, you have to show that I got you, babe.
Yeah.
And probably the same has to go for her.
Thanks.
She has to get you whenever you're down as well.
Thanks.
But I feel what's a big key to our relationship is we both play our roles, as in I help pay for everything I can. She offers to pay every single time we go out to eat, But me, I'm like, no, I kind of got raised old school by my grandma, So it's like, you need to make sure she's good. You have to make sure she knows that you're her umbrella, Yeah. You have to be able to cover her with whatever you can do. And that's a big key thing. So when I used to get home from work and whatever, she used to always have food for me. She used to clean my underwear, bro. Like hand wash them. They're dirty. And she used to fold my socks, bro, like, and leave them in my, sock drawer. And I tell her I'm more than capable of doing everything that she does.
Yeah.
I have 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, mouth, ears. I can listen and see everything she does, but it feels good as a man to get that stuff done too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, shit, she cares about me, you know?
Yeah.
And not a lot of girls do that.
No, dude, I don't. My girlfriend now is the only girlfriend that I've ever had that does that, bro. I think it's a Mexican thing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I think it's a Mexican thing. I don't think that there's many. I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but I don't think that there's many girls or women out there that are raised like that anymore. I think women now are raised to be like independent and not do shit for somebody else and like take care of yourself. And you know, I think in Mexican culture they're kind of raised a little bit differently. Like, you know, you're half of a whole. You know, you take care of this, you do that. And now it's like, I feel like kind of like Andy talks about, everyone's so fucking dry and soft, and like everyone's just like, let me do it on by myself, for myself, you know, not willing to do anything for somebody else. Everyone always just wants hand downs, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, that's love, though, bro. That's
it is, dude. And then what I think about a lot is like, if you don't do that for each other, like, then where the fuck is your home, you know?
Yeah.
Then you guys are just roommates.
That's true as fuck.
That's what I think. And that's why I feel like a lot of relationships do not last. Like, it's just that simple little things that you do for each other. Like, it's one thing, you know, to go to the store and bring back, like, a bread. You know, then you're like, okay, cool, you're thinking about me, you know, like, let's eat. Then another thing would be, you know, hey, babe, you know, I folded your socks. Like, holy fuck. You know, I'm like, just imagine the type of love, you know, you have to have. And I know a lot of that will go through like people's head because of the ego. Like I said, some people might backlash, like, no, she shouldn't do that. But then it's like, maybe you might get a man if you do that, you know? And maybe make him realize that he should be doing shit for you as well.
Yeah. I feel like as a man, you take a certain level of responsibility. I didn't really understand this, like, probably like 5-6 years ago was when I started hanging out with like some like Latinas, like raised in Mexico Latinas, and you know, they kind of started like your habits and behaviors kind of like start showing, you know, and they're like, why do you do things like that? They start questioning you, and then they're like, no, los hombres, like men don't do that, like men do this, men do that, and that's kind of like opening doors, you know, like for a car, or like you know, walking on the right side of the street and shit like that. Like, people don't teach that shit anymore, you know, like. It's crazy. Like, you see people walking down the street, and you know, like, that's the first thing I see is like, that's how you know this guy doesn't really know how to be. And it's kind of a bold statement. Like, this guy doesn't know how to be a man. Like, he's walking on the wrong side of the street, bro. Like, come on, this is your lady. You're holding her hand, and you got her on the wrong side of the street. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Exactly, bro. It's, I don't know, when people do that type of stuff, I feel like at the barbecue, their woman is the one that's cooking the meat, and they're sitting down with a wine cooler.
Yeah,
you know.
I feel you. I feel like I'm pretty independent though. Like, I don't like like, so like, to me, like, I serve my own plate. Yeah. Like, I think it's kind of weird that, like, let me just sit down and get my girl to serve me. You know, like, I don't know. I lived by myself for forever, so like, I'm used to just like doing shit for myself. You know, I think it's a great gesture. You know, I love that. Feels good, but. I don't know, like, I like a certain level of independence. Yeah. You know, like, there's got to be a nice level of everything. How are you going to raise your kids, bro, when you have little ones?
Exactly,
you know, it's like, when you have little kids, you got to raise them to be, and to think a certain way. I think that's important. How many kids do you want?
Dude, all right, I say I want 10, but in reality, I think I want 2 or 3. I've always loved to see people have the big families, you know? Yeah. But if I'd rather have like 2, maybe 3, and raise them right. You know, like, well, there's no right way to raise them, but at least give them everything in my head of what I know that's going to help them out for the future.
What do you think is like the number one quality that you're going to teach your kids?
Do respect. You know, and that kind of branches off to a lot of different things. Like, for example, I see a huge thing that people really don't do nowadays is don't talk when your elders are talking. Yes. You know, and before, when I was little, I didn't kind of, you know, think too much of it. But now we see, like, these little-ass teenagers, you know, like, their grandparents are talking, and they just, mom, dad, you know, like, I'm fucking leaving, you know, slamming the doors, and they're trying to have a conversation, or they have guests over. you know, like they're chilling, they're talking, and then you're gonna come here and make a scene, you know,
Yeah.
or even just butt into the conversation
Yeah.
like nothing, you know.
Do you feel like a lot of that has to do with this guy?
Yes, and like I said before, like the whole Facebook thing, you know, voicing your opinions everywhere, you know, like truth is you don't have to voice your opinion everywhere you go, you know.
Yeah.
It's not about you all the time, and that's a big thing where, you know, like this, we said this, you know, plays a key point that it's all about you at every single given moment.
Yeah. A lot of people just are so sucked into that shit.
Yes.
You know?
So, like, with everything that's going around, like, the whole, you know, of course, you know, everybody has their own different opinion. Like, with the Black Lives Matters, with, you know, stimulus checks, all that crap. Like, for example, in the whole Black Lives Matter, a couple of my aunts that had asked me, they're like, why aren't you posting anything? You know, but I'm like, why? I support it, you know, but I'm not going to be, I don't need to show everybody else what I believe in and contradict what they believe in.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own right to believe in stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to change your opinion on shit.
Yeah. I like starting fights on Facebook sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good way to stir the pot. I learned that from Grant Cardone. You know, you got to be the villain sometimes. Go the complete opposite of everybody else's, you know, saying and talking about. And I think you kind of need that, you know, a different perspective on something. During the summer, there's a lot of times where I would post something, and a bunch of people that I never talked to in actual real life that we've been Facebook friends for, you know, forever, since high school, would like start comment and just like start talking shit, calling me an idiot, calling me a, you know, conspiracy theorist, calling me an asshole. Like, it's like, cool, I'll take it. I know I'm not that, you know, I'm not gonna get offended. I'm not butthurt. It's like everyone's got their own opinion. I simply was doing it for that simple reason, to kind of just get people to like stir the pot and kind of start talking about everything. How do you think 2021 is gonna go? Vibe check. How do you think 2021 is gonna be compared to 2020, bro? Like with the whole fucking fuckery of 2020.
Dude, I feel like it might still go on the same shit. Like, I seen an article that, you know, whole vaccine disclaimer, some bullshit. It was 180-day start to a UFO disclosure thing. I don't know the exact words, you know, but that supposedly like UFOs were gonna be, you know, more.
That's like the new headline now.
Yeah,
fucking UFOs.
And it's like some people are just so they really have nothing going on in their life that they're just so sucked in to everything they see. I seen this one thing a couple months ago, not yet, around October, around that time. I had turned on the news, and legit, bro, I kid you not, word for word, they're like, yeah, so a bunch of doctors are being fined for upping, you know, the coronavirus patients they had to get more bonus checks. And so it turns out all the numbers are false and lies. And then 10 minutes later, they fast forward. So there's about 300 new cases in the last 2 minutes. And I was like, didn't you guys just say all that was bullshit?
Dude, it's fucked. The whole COVID shenanigans is fucked up.
Yeah, and I don't know, 2021 is just going to be a continuation of what happened in 2020, you know. Just a bunch of shit shows.
Yeah.
You know, just, I don't know, dude. It's like, I feel like the big people up there are just looking down at us like,
just laughing. Like, these fucking idiots.
Exactly.
They fucking believe everything we fucking tell them.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like it's not even the fact of, you know, being woke. You're like, oh my God, the government did. It's just, why are you being so sucked into it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, what else you got going on in your life, bro? You know?
Facts.
We had this guy, bro. So I don't want to say his name, but he was under us and in QC and IM. And this is what I mean about, like, people always want to see, like, their own facts, their own opinions and everything. So he didn't do shit. I'm not gonna lie. He didn't watch the videos. He didn't go through anything. And I used to invite him, like, all the time, like, hey, come out to meetups, come out to, before pre-COVID, you know. And then during COVID, you know, he made an excuse. Then he used COVID as an excuse to not put in more work. And so this last meetup that we had, where you went, Mike, all of our homies,
Yeah.
And then he wants to say, like, everybody put your mask on. Like, why is nobody wearing? He commented on my girl's. She put it up on Snapchat. He commented, now he wants to voice his opinion. And he started saying, I want you guys to see what kid's sister was like a nurse. Like, my sister has had people die in their arms, like all this stuff. Like, why is nobody wearing a mask? And I told him, like, why don't you come over here again, and we can show you how to make some more income, dude, so you can get out of that lifestyle that you're in, so closed-minded.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't want to see that, but I wish you guys will come and see how many people are passing away due to COVID. So I'm like, I'll go see it if you come over here. Like, I'll go see it if you come to one of our events. And he was all like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, so then what makes you think I want to do what you want to do, So, crazy. I don't know, dude. It's just a big fucking shit show.
There's two sides to every story, man. And I think that's what people, like, there's like, people can't agree to disagree, or disagree that their statements are disagreeable. Like, you'll say something and, like, I might not agree, and then that's not okay with you, and then that starts a fight. So we can't even agree to disagree because we both defend our sides so, like so strongly. Like, we both just feel some type of way about it. It's insane, bro. I really don't like, the way that things are kind of morphing into everything. It's kind of weird, like, thinking about, like, having kids and, like, bringing kids into this society and all that shit. Like, yeah. What's really gonna happen? Like, I don't want to fucking keep wearing a mask, bro. I want to go out and socialize.
Yeah, right. You can't even compliment anybody on their shoes without them being like, no, don't compliment.
Get away, dude. I was at the Starbucks yesterday in the city, the fucking world's largest Starbucks, and we were, like, asking a question to somebody about coffee, and, like, because sometimes I forget that there's fucking the deadliest disease in the entire world that's apparently killing hundreds of thousands of people in the world, but somehow the stock market is its all-time highs. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I forget that that's a thing, and I was getting close to somebody else. I was asking a question, and I could feel them back away slowly, and I'm like, naturally, I'm like following them. But I keep like, he's trying to get away from me. Yeah. Like, because he's wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask, and we still have to keep 6 feet apart because, he might die if, he breathes my air. So it's crazy, bro. But yeah, what are you going to do with your stimulus check? Oh, you're not getting one.
Yeah.
Wait, why? Because you make too much money?
I don't fucking know, dude. Well, point is, dude, I've never fucking received a stimulus check, and I mean, I'm kind of happy that I don't, but at the same time, like, fuck, I want the stimulus check. Yeah. I want to go cash out on some Gucci shoes for no reason. Nah, fucking right. But putting that bitch in Bitcoin, half in Bitcoin, half in Ethereum.
Yeah.
But
that's a smart idea.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I fill out my taxes every year. We do everything right, but supposedly they say you have to get in the mail, and then some other people say you got to go on the IRS website and fill out some form, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm not dying over it. My girl gets it, so I'm like,
half for her, half for you.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, nice.
Exactly.
I always say I say to my girl all the time, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. That's the way it works.
Yeah, dude, legit.
That's love, bro. Legit. So what if there was one thing that you like won a motto for 2021, bro? What would that be for you?
Wait, if I what? Dude?
A motto, like something to like live on through 2021, like a phrase or a word.
Whoa.
What would it be for you?
My fucking motto for this year, dude, is gorilla mentality, dude. I just last year I did a huge thinking of what my brand was gonna be, what I wanted to do, and I was like, dude, I want to create something and have that gorilla mentality, the fucking beating your chest, quit being a bitch. Go step up to a gorilla in the middle of the jungle and see what the fuck is gonna happen. He's not gonna be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna say some words to you. No, they're gonna fucking go after you. Why? Because that's what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
Not even trained. That's just their type of environment.
Instinct.
Of like, apes are the closest thing to humans, and what the fuck is a gorilla male gonna do if you ever step into his family's territory? Where his kids are. He's gonna fuck you up. He ain't gonna fucking point his finger. And not even with that, you know, their job is just to climb, to fucking provide for the family, go out, get some food, and do whatever the fuck they gotta do to survive.
Yeah.
You know, in a crazy ass environment.
Facts.
You know, so that was my motto. I created all New Year's Day, dude, all fucking morning, dude. I woke up that day and I was like, 2021, what the fuck am I gonna live by? So it was crazy that you asked that question, you know. I got a dope ass, I ordered a dope ass, you know, big ass frame for my office. And I don't know if you've seen Grant Cardone's gorilla in the back of his office. Yeah.
I love that thing.
Very similar to that, dude.
That's fucking nice.
He actually gave me that inspiration, dude.
That's dope. Let's fucking crush it in 2021, bro. Thank you so much for coming by.
My fucking boy, dude.
Let's go.
Shit was dope, bro.